welcome back to 13C. Today we're taking a look at the brand new Incinerate from Bushnell Optics. And we're also going to be taking a look at their 3X Magnifier. Let's get right into the review here and get started. The Incinerate has a 2 MOA inner circle and is framed up by a 25 MOA outer circle. Now there's a thought process behind that and rationale, and part of that has to do with your eye being able to more quickly pick up that outer circle, which will then naturally draw it to the center 2 MOA dot for your more accurate shots. We're going to get into that a little bit later on in the video, and I'll give my thoughts on that. But for right now, we'll just kind of focus right in on the optic itself. It's got 8 levels of brightness with an on and off switch in between each one, all the way from 1 to 8. 8 being the brightest. Out here today, it's a bright day, but it is overcast, and I'm using it on about the level 5 to 6. We're actually on 6 right now as the clouds have thinned out just a little bit above us. 8 I find is really just kind of too bright, generally speaking, overall. For most uses, we'll see probably that 8 come in handy when we get into winter time here, which is only a month or two away at this point, and how that actually works on a white, snowy, bright sunlit background. It's important to have those brighter settings. The 1 MOA, or I should say the 1 power level setting here is extremely dim. You can pick it up on dark nights, so there is a use there, especially if you're using this under moonlight, something along those lines. To point out, there are no night vision sights, or I should say night vision settings on this optic, so to my knowledge it won't be compatible even on its lowest setting with most of the night vision that's out there. It's powered by a CR2032 battery. At this point, it's been in for testing for several weeks. I've left it on several times, and at this point, I've left it on when I'm not actually using it on level 4 setting for at least the past 2 weeks, and the battery's still going strong. There is no actual battery rating at this point. I've reached out to Bushnell on a few of the points you'll see later on in this video, and they don't have any specific hours yet that this battery is rated for. The best they can tell me is that based on similar things, you're going to get tens of thousands of hours of battery time on your intermediate to lower settings. We'll see how that plays out. I'll continue to test this just like I have with other optics by leaving it on, about that 4-ish range and seeing how that does over time. Overall, we've received a ton of questions on this optic simply because a lot of the information that's out there right now, as it's just newly released, a lot of the technical information seems to be lacking out there, and I'm not exactly sure why at this point, but we're going to try and address a lot of those questions now. In the manual for the click adjustments, it says refer to the optic for what your adjustment is per click. So you take your caps off here, and you look at it, and it does indicate on here which direction is up, or on the side which direction is left. But it doesn't actually say what your adjustment value is per click. So that's somewhat unfortunate. I looked a few other places online as well on the Bushnell website. It doesn't actually list what that value is. I will say, based upon citing this in and what I've seen so far, I would say your adjustment value is going to be basically half an inch per click at 100 yards. At least that's what it appears to be right now, at least as far as for my uses. Our mount on here, our mount features, comes with the high-rise option that you see on here. You can take this out and remove it, and it'll be down at your standard height. This higher rise mount is good for ARs, allow you to co-witness various iron sights. As you see, I don't actually have any iron sights on this Bushmaster ACR. This is actually going to be the last video leading up to the full review on this Bushmaster ACR. We've got the enhanced version versus the DMR, which will be out hopefully in the next couple of weeks. It's taken us months to compile this. We've done a lot of accuracy and stuff like that. So this will be the actual last video you'll see before the full review on this comes out if you're waiting for that. I apologize, but we're just trying to get as many rounds through this as possible before we actually put out that full review. You actually have iron sights on the top here, and this rear sight is dovetailed in and will accept standard Glock style sights. These are useful and you can use them. Just realize you're going to have a chin weld more so than a cheek weld if you go to use these as a backup. It's nice that they incorporate these into here. As far as changing out this rear sight, I know I could put some of my Glock sights on there. I really don't see that as something I would ever do, but if that's up to you, it's nice to see they actually allow you the feature to change that in and out if you're so inclined. The lenses are fully multi-coated, and this is waterproof, shockproof, and fog-proof. Another question I've had is, what is the waterproof rating on this? Looking in the manual, looking online, I've reached out to Bushnell technical support for an answer on this, and unfortunately, I guess coming into the long holiday weekend here, they didn't have time to get back to me. I'll try and update the website where this review will be located, 13cgunreviews.com, to give you guys more information on that. But at this point, we don't actually have any data on what this is rated to as far as depth-wise, other than waterproof. I will say I played around with it a little bit, dunked it around. Seems to be holding up well. We're actually going to get to that in just a minute. When we talk about this Incinerate, we'll take this off, we'll throw it in our 5-gallon bucket here, and go from there. So since we don't know exactly how waterproof this thing is, we're going to do a completely unscientific, scientific test that we do here on the channel when we get red dots in like this. We're on right now. I'm actually going to crank the brightness up to 7 on here. Hopefully you guys can see that this is on right now. And we're going to put her in here and let it go while we talk about the 3X magnifier. So this magnifier is done well thus far. We put it behind a number of different red dots, not just the Incinerate that's in the bottom of the bucket here. Speaking of the bucket, why we use the bucket, it's a lot easier to give you guys the depth of the water, how static it is, and then you're not wondering, all right, is it in a low spot in the pond? How deep was it? Is it a couple inches? Is it, several feet? We can be consistent on that in that regard. We're not trying to reinvent the wheel here on testing, but we are just trying to show that, yeah, what you're going to generally accomplish if you're looking at a red dot in this price point. This guy comes in, by the way, well below $200. So, this isn't necessarily something that you're going to be taking to war with you, as a special ops fighter or something along those lines. However, if something is rated as waterproof, be it whatever is the depth, be it 1 meter or 10 meters, 20 meters, you want to at least be able to tell that there is some sort of basis behind that, at least when we're telling you that it's waterproof. At least hey, we're at least doing something to check to make sure that at least what you're going to encounter on your normal day, either walking around your property or out at the range, you drop the rifle, it falls into a puddle, or a foot or two of water, you're at least going to have some sort of basis there on where you're going. Also, it's a great opportunity to point out that 5-gallon buckets are dangerous, they kill children, and in fact 5-gallon buckets kill more children every year than rifles do. Not just the so-called black scary assault rifle, but all rifles, bolt action rifles, hunting rifles, any kind of rifle you can think of. These buckets kill more children than rifles do. The Incinerate comes with this flip mount that you see here. To use it, you simply pull back and flip it to the side. When you're going to the right-hand side, you can actually reverse this mount and change it up. And in that case, you would actually push forward and then rotate it over to the left. Obviously, the configuration is now you pull back and then turn it, it locks into place. Stays in place well. You're not going to bump it out of place. You have to manually move it, pull it back before it flips in either direction. The glass is very nice. It's actually quite clear, gathers a decent amount of light for what it is. You've got a fast focus eyepiece in the back here for focusing your eye, and then on the side and top here, these are centering knobs which allow you to center the red dot in your field of view in the center of your magnifier. Now, using this type of setup, you would zero your red dot exactly as you would normally, and then you just put the magnifier behind it. These centering knobs that I mentioned just center the reticle in your view looking through the back of the magnifier. Adjusting these does not change the point of impact at all as far as your red dot would be concerned. Like the Incinerate that's down in the bottom of the bucket, the lenses on this are fully multi-coated. It's waterproof, shockproof, and fog-proof. All right, I think our Incinerate's been in there long enough. Let's get it out and take a look. And we're still on and nice and bright. Hopefully you can see that through there. Trying to get the camera to focus on that. There we go. All right, let's get her mounted back on here. I want to say we were right about there. And of course you can use a tool to tighten this down a little more if you were so inclined. right, we're in frame. All right, here we go. Thought I had one more in there. All right, so there you go. She's still working, still looks good. And while we're talking about it here, let's talk about that 25 MOA outer circle now. For you guys who follow the channel, you follow my previous videos, you know I do love the idea of the outer circle with the smaller 2 MOA dot. I've really enjoyed those over the years, and for home defense, actually, I prefer that 65 MOA outer ring with the 2 MOA inner dot. The 25 MOA outer circle is something that I haven't really come across before, at least for this application. So my thoughts behind it are, you know, people are going to fall into 2 camps. Some people are going to think it's too close, it crowds the view, and they're not a fan of it. On the other side, people are going to maybe like it a little bit more. There are some different things you can do with a 25 MOA circle as opposed to a 65 MOA circle. It gives you a little more versatility in some areas, maybe a little bit of a hindrance in others. My view on it, for what it is, I like it. At the same time, everything has a purpose. You carry a number of different tools in your tool bag, and you're going to set up rifles in certain ways for certain things. One thing I will point out is that with the 3X magnifier behind it, I absolutely love how it looks through a 3X magnifier. Everybody comes down in a different way on that, so we'll just leave it there. And a lot of this is personal preference, and there is no right or wrong answer. If somebody gives you their personal preference, it's what they like. It may not be what you like, and vice versa. I will say, though, that personally, if I'm going to put a 3X magnifier behind a larger outer circle, I would honestly rather it be behind a 25 MOA after spending a lot of time with this here now, and this has been in for several weeks at this point. And you know, we've kind of thrown a bunch of different stuff at it. If you look at the bottom, and maybe I'll put some more pictures in here, some of this stuff has cleaned off, but you know, there's scratches and dings on it. We've kind of, as part of our testing with this, we've kind of knocked it around a little bit, not torture tested it, but knocked it around, and it's done pretty well. For a, you know, an optic that comes in well under 200 bucks, you really can't ask for much more than what you're getting here. Likewise on the magnifier as well. One thing I would like to see from Bushnell is a little bit more hard data on here. I think it would reduce some of the questions that we have, which, by the way, I love your questions. They were great on this one. A lot of good stuff, and hopefully we're answering most of it here in this review. Anyway, I'm starting to ramble, so I probably should wrap this up. If you want to see some more on this Incinerate and 3X magnifier, go ahead, take a moment to subscribe. If you've already subscribed, hit that bell so you can get notifications. YouTube has been screwing with gun channels again. It looks like a lot of our subscribers have to go back in now and hit that bell and purposefully get notified to activate notifications so you get notified when we post new videos. It's only one every 7 days. We try anyway. Sometimes it goes 10 days, but it's not like you'll get spammed out with notifications, and it'll let you know when we've got new stuff here. We really appreciate that. This optic, like I said, is going to be on this Bushmaster ACR video, along with other optics. We did a whole bunch on that. It's the DMR versus the enhanced version. Months worth of work have gone into this video that's going to be coming out here in the next week or two. So definitely, please, hopefully you appreciate the work and effort that's gone into that, and let us know with your feedback and comments. Facebook.com/gun reviews, as well as Instagram. We're at 13C gun reviews, 13c.us. 1776 United, great group of folks. A lot of cool patriotic apparel. 7613C, that code will get you 10% off anything you order from their website. And if you ever have a chance to run into them, definitely check them out. You go to events like NRA meetings and stuff, they're there. Normally with backpacks full of t-shirts and swag to give out to folks. They're really cool people if you ever have a chance to meet them. And if you want to support the channel, we still haven't done a Patreon, but from our website, 13c.us, and links down below, you can click through and support us by picking up Patch, Custom 13C, a fight soap collaboration we did with them, American Spring. And that's the best way you can help out. Really, truly the best way is just sharing the videos, liking, commenting, and subscribing. Thanks again, everyone. Take care, stay safe, and we'll definitely talk soon.